A hoax. That is what President Trump is calling sexual assault allegations against new Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Here with me is someone who knows what it's like to be accused by the president of pulling off a hoax, and that's Stormy Daniels, and she has a new memoir out. It's titled Full Disclosure. Thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure to finally meet you.
You too.
We're from the same place, from Baton Rouge. You went to high school not far from where I grew up, at Park Vista. You went to Scotlandville.
I did, Scotlandville Magnet.
Years apart. I'm much older than you.
Well, you don't look it.
But thank you, Stormy. Listen, the president calling Christine Blasey Ford a liar, something that he called you and your attorney. You know that all too well.
Yes, I do, for sure. I know, been in the adult business for as long as I have, and being a dancer, like I've been called plenty of names. Yeah. But I think that when you know you're telling the truth, the worst thing you can be called is a liar. Yeah. And to have somebody so powerful say that, then of course all the followers jump on and accuse you as well. And
saying it's that things are a hoax when they're actually real. I did that in the open of my show. And the reason I ask you that is because you bravely, and you can talk about as much of this as you want to talk about it, you don't have to talk about it at all because I understand how it is. You bravely wrote about your sexual assault in your book, and you say, I was 9, I was a child, and then I wasn't. And you write that you told an adult and the adult didn't believe you. You know what it's like when the president attacks, someone like the president attacks victims.
Right. It sucks when, anyone accuses you of not telling the truth or attacks you, but when someone like in a powerful position, like in my book, it was a guidance counselor at the school that I went to, you just feel even worse. And you question yourself, and you feel hopeless. Is anyone out there listening? Is there anything I can do? I guess I don't matter. If nobody believes me, then it definitely does something, I think, to your self-worth.
Yeah. Do you think it's, since you've told your story, has it been powerful? Has it been healing for other people?
It was crazy because when the book first came out and I started getting, comments or this or that, and then I realized, oh my gosh, like there are thousands of people right now reading like these most intimate things about myself, and I was like, oh, suddenly I totally regretted like putting all that stuff in. And I went back and forth when I was writing the book. It wasn't in the first draft. And then I felt like, you know what, it's full disclosure, I have to put everything in. So I went back and added it and struggled with it and almost pulled it out of print a couple times. And when the day the book came out, I almost had a panic attack. I was like, oh gosh, I wish I hadn't put that in there. I wish I hadn't put that in there. Because everyone's gonna know everything, and like nothing is private anymore. Especially as I was telling the people who work for me that I work in the adult industry, so I'm already pretty exposed, so it was kind of like my only thing. Yeah. So I regretted it, and then I started getting these messages from people on, Instagram messages, email, text, like they just started flooding in person at appearances, and some of them came from people that I've known my whole life, and I didn't even know that things had happened to them. And a couple messaged me and shared their stories with me and said I was the only person that they had ever told. And it's a lot to deal with because I don't know how to help them, except someone pointed out, you did.
And listen, I have a similar story to yours. Our stories are very similar. It was a neighbor and a friend. And just by telling your story and just by being open about it, I think that you help. I know that people tell me that I've helped them, so I'm sure that you've helped people as well. And thank you for talking about this, because it's just because you write about it in the book, it doesn't mean you want to talk about it. So I asked you before, and I just want to make sure that you're comfortable. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You also write in your book that you were surprised when you were out with Michael Avenatti, your attorney, how many people want to talk to him or take pictures of him or even touch him. He has gone on since he represented you to represent Julie Swetnick. He's represented parents whose kids were separated at the border. Now he's possibly going to have a career in politics. What do you think of that?
About his career in politics?
Yeah.
I think that, I think he's definitely cut out to be a politician. He's made a lot of difference in a lot of lives. I definitely think he's got the charisma and the smarts to do it. I'm not going to say if I'm going to endorse him or not, because I want to know what the other candidates are. Besides, maybe I'll run against him.
Is it ever distracting?
Somewhere Michael Avenatti just fainted.
No. Is it ever distracting? Do you ever feel like, and what does it mean for your case of this? You think this affects your case?
No, and you know what? That's one of the things that I read a lot. You know, people send me messages and they think that Michael has abandoned me or I'm not important to him anymore or this or that. And we're in contact every single day, almost, 3 or 4 times a day sometimes. And I will message him about other things that are going on, other problems, this or that. And, oh, this person did this or that. And he always puts me first.
Yeah. So you were, you said that the non-disclosure agreement that you signed is null and void. Today, the Trump's attorneys filed paperwork agreeing with you. Mm-hmm. You've already done several books now. I mean, have you ever considered just dropping the case now?
When that first, a couple weeks ago when they offered to drop it and admit it, that they weren't going to sue me for the 20 million or whatever the crazy number was. There was this brief moment where I was super excited and I felt like I'd won. But then I realized, no, that's just them chickening out. Like, I want them to admit that it was illegal and that I was bullied.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't really quit now.
Yeah.
And everybody forgets that, months ago in the beginning, I offered to return the money.
And they said
they weren't interested then.
Interested. Right. So why should you change course now?
Right.
Yeah. So you tweeted this yesterday. You said, Michael Cohen just said hi to me in the airport. I meant to take a flight to New York, but think I just landed on Mars. So what happened?
We just passed each other in LaGuardia the other night. And I saw him and I was like, oh my gosh, that's Michael Cohen. And he passed within like 3 feet of me. And, I was with, my bodyguards and my tour manager and stuff. And we were like, hi. He turned around and he goes, hey guys, and smiled at us. And it was very strange.
Very strange. And that was it.
He looked happy and healthy though.
Yeah.
He looked like he had a weight off his shoulders.
Yeah. So, but do you harbor any ill feelings for him? Because it doesn't sound like it from.
I did, like, for a long time. Like, he was the one who, brokered this ridiculous deal, which isn't my issue because I wanted it. I didn't want this story to come out. Yeah. My issue with him was he's the one that went on TV and promoted a book deal and this and that and started, wanting more and more and more from me. Yeah. And so I definitely think that I had a lot of ill will for him, towards him. But in the end, you know what? He kind of did the right thing. He admitted that I wasn't lying and that Trump had ordered him to do this. So in a way, I guess I forgive him.
Yeah. So you write in your book, it's, and I mean this the best possible way. I was surprised at how much I liked the book. I mean, it's because it's like a biography, right? Right. People underestimate you a lot. And you take them by the element of surprise because you're actually a very smart woman and you've done very well in the adult entertainment business as a director and as a producer. Why do you think people underestimate you so much? First, you said that you shouldn't even be here, right? You should be in Louisiana with a bunch of kids and maybe living.
Right.
I'll let people read the book.
Right. I think that people still have the misconception that if you have blonde hair and big boobs, you must be a ditz. And a lot of people also think that because I work in adult entertainment and I'm a dancer and that I must not be smart enough to do anything else.
Right.
They think that, oh, she's incapable of holding any other job. Yeah. But they don't realize that, I'm a producer, writer, director. I'm responsible for millions of dollars for the company's money every year. Yeah.
You said you don't have many regrets, but the one that you have recently is writing about the president's private parts. Why do you regret that?
I don't really regret it. I just have a couple moments where I'm like, ooh, that was kind of mean. But then I look back on all the horrible things he said about other people and women and calling women pigs and, attacking girls' weights and their looks. And then I don't feel so bad. Yeah. But I don't agree in general with like body shaming. But I was backed into a corner. I didn't really have a choice. I'm not a liar, and that's basically the only thing I could say to prove that I'm telling the truth.
You dedicate this book to your daughter.
Yes.
What do you want her and others to get from it?
Hopefully she doesn't read it for a few years. But I do hope that she reads it, and I hope that it inspires her to not only do what she thinks is right and stand up for herself, but to stay her path and follow her dreams. Yeah.
It's a real pleasure meeting you, and I'm enjoying the book. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. The president tonight saying that Brett Kavanaugh was proven innocent, even though the FBI's report is still secret and multiple potential witnesses were never contacted. Is it all just an attempt to paper over a partisan political process? We'll talk about that.